All right, now let's bring the screen share back. There we
Perfect. And if you wouldn't mind just
go. Mhm.
starting over in terms of telling us that how the
Yes.
flexibility and all that.
Yes. So ultimately, to create a time map, I needed to put some kind of time frame in there. And
Right.
really, it's going to come down to is the time your board has to do the different components based on scheduling. Because ideally, you want to do big chunks, especially near the beginning for developing the means policies and ends policies. Like these are day events where you want to spend a good chunk of a day working on them. And so depending on how many of those you can get in sequence will really affect, each of these time periods. So the times I put in here, that's just a guide. Um, might be able to do it faster. I I try to gauge it on a quick pace that gets everything up and running so that ideally at the end of a year, you've got all your policies set up and you've actually had good 3 to 6 months of really living it out. So you've got multiple board sessions where you're actively living out these policies, you're starting to monitor the policies, and then that provides opportunity for feedback on, okay, how are you running your meetings? Are you staying on track with the principles of policy governance, or where are you deviating?
Hmm.
So this time frame is based on that. If you take longer to develop the policies, then it eats into that time of being able to monitor how
Right.
effectively you're living it out. So that's part of the incentive to getting more done sooner is you get more coaching later. Ultimately, you could always add more coaching onto the end of this packet. It's not, okay, we hit that year mark, we're done, see you later, you're on your own. We could always extend the coaching package type of thing in there. And likewise, the start date, you'll see there's no actual calendar dates on here
Right.
because
Right.
it really comes down to when is a good time for your board to dive into this? That
Right.
first 3 to 6 months is going to be the most intensive part of things. And so you really want to budget that time frame of, when is that good? September, end of August, September is usually not a good time if people got kids.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
got to factor in things like Christmas, other activities going on with the church, that kind of thing. So that's something you and the rest of the board would discuss and fine tune what is reasonable for you. Um, okay, so I'll just do a quick little run through the stages of this. The first stage is developing those means policies. Uh, they tend to be a little bit easier in a sense. Well, they're easier than ends because ends is more future thinking. They're a little bit harder to get the mind wrapped around. It's
Hmm.
much easier to say this is what we will do, and these are things that should never be done. So the means policies are a great place to start. And the idea with the coaching through these is I would meet with the board for a couple hours to get things started. And so we'd work through some of them. You would get provided a full template that's been vetted by the governance coach team that's applicable for a church setting. You won't use everything that's in there. It's designed to be a catch-all of policies. And there may be things that you add to it as well. But the idea is to get you started on it, to make sure you're not just cutting and pasting into your manual,
Right.
because if you don't own it, it's going to be harder to follow it. You need to understand the value behind the
Hmm.
words. And so that's really what the coaching will be, is to help get you started. And then you're on your own for the rest of the day working on it. I'm available for consultation, emails through Google Docs or whatever. We can do some simultaneous work type of thing to help get things going. Um, so with these little bars, uh, it's sort of based, each column is a week, and it's sort of gauged on, during this period of time, that's where you're going to be working on these. For all the spots for coaching, that's where these shaded in bars are,
Hmm.
that are a bit of a different pattern. And it's not meant to specify, oh, here's a week of coaching.
Right.
It's just to
Sometime
identify
during that
where
week.
I'm involved.
Right.
It's a little hard to clarify all of that, breaking things down by hours. Uh, yeah, so the policy is sort of broken into stages. You're starting off with the board management and governance process policies. These are written in the same format. These are what we will do type of writing, whereas executive limitations would be the second block, which would be done on a separate day. That's all written in a different language, like shall not type thing. They're
Right.
just setting boundaries. So it's a different mindset of writing, which is why I broke those into two separate categories for doing those. And then during this entire block, in addition to the 4 hours of getting you started on those policies, there's 5 hours of coaching to review what you've been doing, answer questions, that type of thing, provide any feedback that's needed. So that's the first block. The next block would be the next quarter. So the next 3 months, getting you started very quickly off on the ends policy. So ideally within essentially 4 months, you've got your policy manual done. And some of that for doing the ends policies will depend a little bit on pre-work that you've done, engaging with the owners. So the big owner, of course, is God. So,
Right.
you know, you're going to have to decide how much time you spend on that. Is this rallying the church into a month of prayer and fasting, or whatever, you know, you deem necessary to do that, to prepare the board's heart and minds for focusing on ends and what God's calling you to do. And then connecting with other people in the church, the neighborhood, things like that to figure that out. Then, so the idea is, yeah, all the policies developed in about 4 months' time. And then we get into actually living it out. So now you start getting into adjusting your meetings to fit the policy governance format. Because once you get your policies, now you got to start living it. And your meetings will be quite different because now it's all policy-based, policy governance-based meetings. And so there's a little bit of guidance and training on that. Some of these calendars that are referenced in here, you're going to have samples of those. So
Right.
each of the members of the board are going to get a manual. I've been working through this manual myself, just refreshing on what all is in it because we're looking at making some tweaks. It's a pretty comprehensive manual. It's got a lot of FAQ type things in there, how the board self-evaluates, what sample calendars look like. It's got tons of reference material in there. And this is going to be your main go-to to help guide the board. You get stumped, you're not going to quickly hop on a phone and call me, like I'm available, but it's going to eat up your time with me.
Yeah.
So go to the manual and you see, okay, this is what a sample calendar looks like. And that way our conversation is spent on maybe explaining something in the example rather than trying to go from scratch.
Right.
And it's something too, I'll use in my communication. I'm gonna say, hey, check out this part in the manual and let me know if you have any questions type of thing. So it's quite possible these calendars, when doing the policies, you may actually have these done already. So this is where there's some flexibility in that time frame. Some like to just get all the policies written out, then do up the calendars. Others like to just do them as they go. As soon as the policy references the calendar, do the calendar then. So it's up to you to the approach. Yeah, so during the second block, there's several hours of time for a consultation as needed to help guide you through that process. So a lot of the time spent coaching is on the ends policy. So I've dedicated 6 hours to assisting you in the ends policy development, because that's a tougher one to get through.
Right.
And that might be, we do a 6-hour day and I'm there the whole day, or maybe I get you started for a couple of hours and then meet back later, review what you've done, you know, whatever is sort of needed and going to work best. Lots of flexibility there. And then the last 2 sections get into monitoring reports, getting that part up and running. You know, what kind of report do you present? What does it look like? And again, the manual has lots of samples for that to help you figure out what makes a good monitoring report. How does the board interpret whether or not it's a good monitoring report? How does the board actually do, in a sense, monitoring reports on themselves and their own behaviors? Because they have to self-evaluate. They do it a little bit differently than an official monitoring report. But we get those up and running. And then ideally, if everything's gone well, the last 3 months is just everything's flowing and now it's fine tuning. continual refinement begins. And yeah, a little summary at the bottom with the total hours of coaching, how that will work a little bit, and future considerations as well as pricing. So quite a bit of a different pricing
Right.
point than the original.
Right.
But as we discussed, puts a little more onus on the board as to
Yeah, sure.
work that you're going to be doing. I believe you'll still be fully resourced. Like I said, I've been going through this manual you'll be receiving, and yeah, the info in there is great. I believe you'll have what you need to do it, and you'll have me just a phone call, email away
Right.
to help if you get to those points where you get stuck or need a little bit of reassurance that you're on track type of thing. So
Yeah, no, I think this looks good in terms of giving the board a very clear option now. Now we can sort of determine, does the original proposal you gave seem more worth it now because we understand the legwork that this would require?
Mhm.
Or is this the better option with less out of pocket, but more, time resources being spent? So this is good. And thanks for recording it too. I think once I get the link and I send it out to the guys, I think they'll enjoy watching this and just sort of seeing it laid out like this. I think it's very helpful.
Excellent. Yeah, and like I said, I'll do up a PDF version of this so
Yeah,
it's
that'd be
easier
great.
to read, and I'll get that sent off to you.
Great. Yeah, I don't really have any questions at this point. I am glad that you shared the screen because yeah, I did not see some of some of those bars, any of them really. So I'm glad for that, and thanks for the PDF that you're gonna send. That'll be good.
You're welcome. Yeah, I didn't even think to ask if you were a Mac or a Windows user. So
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty much all Apple these days. I mean, I used to be a big Apple fanboy, I guess,
Mhm.
but now I'm less enthused by them as they seem to be a little less innovative, and other companies are being more innovative. So the gap is far different. But I'm so stuck in the ecosystem that I it's all I know anymore. So
Yep, that's how they get you.
I know they have me right where
Apps
they
and
want
everything
me.
else.
Yep. But
Yep,
yeah, no, this all looks good, Jeff.
good.
Thanks for doing that. And by the way, you must have pretty pretty good Excel skills to be able to even put that. I don't know how I'd be able to replicate that file. I mean, that's insane.
Well, I capitalize on the work of others. That is one of
I see.
my strategic anchors. Don't figure it out all myself.
Don't reinvent the wheel, right?
Yep. If somebody else knows how to do it, capitalize on that.
Yep. Yep. I do the same. Well,
Yeah.
thanks.
So
Anything
like this
else?
is just it's called a NAT chart,
Hmm.
GNATT. And there's templates built into Excel. I'm sure Macs
Right. Right.
spreadsheets will have the same type of thing. It's just templates where people have gone and set up all the little bits of nuances in it.
That's great.
Because for me to create that would have taken forever. To
Yeah.
copy
Right.
somebody's work,
Exactly.
no problem.
That's why the policy governance template seems so and manual, the sample manual and stuff seems so helpful.
hmm Yeah, and that's why ultimately why I teamed up with Governance Coach is they have these resources that for me to try to create them on my own, even having gone through all the training and certifications, that's a lot of work. And then you're still left second guessing, well, did I miss something?
Right.
You got a team of people that they live and breathe this, that are like, we have some of our meetings where we may debate a policy for an hour. And then we may even decide at the end, yeah, we don't even need that policy. That's just a bad thing. It's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah. That's great. That's
So,
good.
yeah, so you definitely get that benefit with
Yes.
the governance coaches. You're not just getting me, you're getting all the years of experience
Right.
of all the other coaches in there. Because if you ever throw a question my way that I don't know the answer to, I'll just say, you know what? I need to check on that one. And I got a team of people I can bring it to. And
Awesome.
we do maintain confidentiality within that
Okay.
group as well. As stated in the contract
Mhm.
documents. But part of it is we give the best service when we can collaborate with one another. And
Yep.
so
Yeah,
you are
I
getting
agree.
a team when you hire us. So
Great. Well, thank you for this time. I appreciate it. Was there anything else?
no, I think that's it from my end of things. So I hope I delivered what you were after, and I
Yeah.
like
Oh,
that you opted
you
for the time now.
100% delivered what we were after in terms of getting a. I mean, I didn't think we'd have any other real potential options. So this is very thorough. The guys are going to have a good time looking at it, and really, I think it's very straightforward. So we'll be able to know
Awesome.
where to go from there.
All right. So just to keep tabs on things, I don't like hounding people. So
Sure.
idea of time frame before I hear back from you. I'm gonna know you got to
Sure.
coordinate with the others.
Yeah. So when you get me the cloud link for the
Mhm.
video, and I can download it and get it going with the PDF, I'll send that out. We don't have July. July is like our 1 month of the year that we take off as an elder board.
Nice.
So our next meeting is August 9th or 8th, somewhere around there, the Monday, whatever the Monday that is. So we'll discuss more there. And they will have seen this. I will have given this to them in advance. So I would say we can definitely, if I don't reach out to you, certainly anytime after Monday, the August, whatever that is. Let me see. August 9th is our meeting.
Okay.
Is our next elder meeting. So anytime after that would be great to circle back.
Sounds good. And yeah, once you've had the discussions, if this proposal is good, then I'll get the official contract
Sure.
done up. If there's any tweaks or changes or anything, just let me know.
Great.
Want to make sure that we're on the same page,
Yep.
and then we'll get that final contract drafted up and sent out to you. So,
That sounds great. Thanks, Jeff.
all right. Well, thank you. Enjoy the
Yeah.
rest of your day, and
All right.
yeah, we'll see you in August.
Okay. Take care. See you
Take care.
later.
Bye.
Bye.